Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. Let's play some more Total War Rome 2 in the Roman Ascension campaign. So I've decided, after putting a little bit of thought into it, this is going to be the 146th episode of the Roman Ascension campaign. I knew that a full campaign of Total War would take a long time, but I never did the math on okay, well, how long realistically will it take? How many hours? You know, if I record it 15 to 20 to sometimes 30-minute episodes, as I've done a couple of times, how long will, how many episodes will count out? So it is a mind-blowing number. And at this point in the Roman Ascension campaign, things are just changing. There are just... the expansion of the Roman Republic, because we're not an empire yet at this alternate point in history, is slowing. It will continue, but it's taken on a different form because we have encountered some of our first major powers, and I'm not kind of charging out into kind of unregulated barbarian lands and conquering things. So I thought this would be a great time to kind of reintroduce the campaign. And, I will share this video among some of my friends. You can feel free to share it as well as a starting in point, because I really feel like, for people who haven't been watching up until this point, this could be an interesting jump in point, as far as, just seeing this, Let's Play, this series, this Roman campaign, Roman expansion, Roman Empire founding, hopefully, that I've been doing. So for the first part of this video, I'm just going to kind of reintroduce everything for those of you who've been watching from the beginning. I might do some stuff towards the end of this, so I'm not necessarily going to say you should skip this video, but if you want to skip ahead in the video, by all means, I wouldn't blame you. So, for those of you who have not been following as closely, this is a game of Rome 2 Total War, one of my favorite strategy games of all time. I am a huge, what's called Romanophile, have been since the movie Gladiator came out, and one of the reasons that I have decided to do this Let's Play, and that I've been doing it for over 100 episodes now, is it's a great way for me to spend the little free time that I have as a student, and just kind of use this as an outlet for my strategy cravings, and not just be a complete vegetable in my downtime. And one of the reasons a Let's Play is cool, and that I'm actually sharing the game as I play it, is it's such an interesting historical narrative. You don't have to be a gamer to appreciate some of the stuff that's going on here. And if you stick around for a couple of minutes, if you haven't been watching up to this point, you'll really see what I mean by that as I show you what's happening in this campaign. An alternate history has really unfolded at this point. We're in the year 1 AD. 273 years have gone by in game time since I started this off, because this starts in the real timeline right after the end of the Punic Wars. So if you're a teacher, if you're a history buff, if you're a Romanophile like me, or if you're a fan of strategy games and you just find watching the narrative of the formation of an empire of an empire like this to be fascinating, then I invite you to watch along. Also, I invite you to comment. If you are watching, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, or if you stumble across this series on YouTube, and there's something that you want to see. If you're watching going, man, I wish he would narrate better in this certain instance, or I wish he would explain more about this part of the game, or I wish he would, provide different angles with the camera, or things like that. I'm open to any kind of feedback that you might have, and I really welcome it. So, welcome. Thanks again for watching, and I'm going to do a bit of a tactical review now so that you can see what's happening at this point in my alternate history that I've created. So as you can see here, this is the city of Rome. I'll pull up the interface so everything looks a bit clearer. We'll go to the map in just a second. As you can see, this is how we're looking. So you'll notice this amphitheater here. There's some dust and a crane over it. That's because in exactly 1 year, the Colosseum will be completed. I don't know when the Colosseum was completed historically. I'll need to check on that, actually, because that's something I'm curious about. But that's going to be a big deal just in general, because obviously it's a Roman landmark and you'll get to see it on the map for the first time. But also it will help my family politically, the Julii family, or the Julia family in this game. It's called the Julii family in Rome 1 Total War. Gain influence every turn. Similarly to how this building right here, This is a pantheon. And so it's kind of like the Roman equivalent of the Parthenon, I guess, maybe. Or maybe not, I could be completely wrong on that. But it's a religious building, and it exists in Medlin, which is ancient Milan, which we conquered earlier in the campaign. So this is Rome, and those buildings help my particular family gain influence at an increased rate, which is important. And the reason that's important, I mentioned kind of in passing a moment ago, we are actually not the Roman Empire yet. Even though when you look at this map and you see all the red, if you've already drawn the correct conclusion that, wait, is that the territory you own? Yes, it is. We control all of Britain, which is, of course, ahistorical. Rome never conquered all of Britain. They mostly left Scotland alone, what is now Scotland. But as you can see, we control all of it. Eboracum, that's ancient York. Eildon, I don't know. Maybe that's ancient Edinburgh? I'm not positive. I need to look at where Edinburgh is on a map. But this is the only city that I can actually conquer in the area. But as you can see, it's quite large. Eboracum is here, like I said. This is modern Essex, I believe, or very close to modern Essex, Camulodunum. It was also one of the largest Roman cities to exist back then. So we definitely have conquered all of this. And of course we control Ireland as well, which is fun. Here's ancient Dublin right here. So this is what we control. I'll bring up the tactical map so it makes a bit more sense. Now here's where it's interesting, and this is one of the reasons it's so cool to do a Let's Play of games like this. Even though it is, some could say it's just a game and it's not real. This is why it's so entertaining and why I find it so fun to do and to share. Notice our territory stops here. And there's this checkerboard of dark red, kind of a crimson, almost brown, and white, with the same logo, just inverted colors. This is all Carthaginian territory. In this history, Rome and Carthage have actually gotten along. I have marched armies in and attempted to help them. I failed miserably. It's a funny video to watch. It was the most wasted battle I've recorded. But I failed miserably in helping them defend Carthage when they were having slave revolts several years back. But Carthage still exists. Our border with Carthage is roughly the border with Spain. As you can see from these flag logos here, we have a few armies on the border. So if they were to decide to get frisky, then we could take them, frankly. I have armies really stationed everywhere. The only place I don't have a fleet right now, I've actually usually had a fleet in Eulalia. It's a little weird that I don't have one in Eulalia here. But I had one there for like the majority of the game, and I finally moved them down. But I've got a fleet right here, so it's almost just as good. Now, so that's what's going on with Carthage, and I just find that so fascinating that at this point, they are still around. Now, that being said, I am mad at Carthage. They're idiots. They frustrate me because, let's take a look at Carthage. This is Carthage. It has changed hands. You can see it's burning still because they're recovering. Their public order, look here, this is their current public order. This is how much it's expected to drop with the next turn. It will probably improve now that they have armies in the area and they're hopefully turning things around, but Carthage has changed hands tons of times over the past 100 years or so because the Carthaginian computer-controlled player has just been foolish, and they haven't done a very good job of defending their home settlement. And one of the reasons that it's fallen multiple times is these guys here. This is the logo of the Seleucid Empire, and in this version of history, there has been a bit of an early Middle Eastern, I'm not going to say Muslim because it's, at this point in time, Islam does not exist yet, but there's been a bit of a Middle Eastern conquest of this area. And they even went so far, when they had territory, they held Carthage briefly, they held Thapsus here, just south of Carthage, and they tried to attack Lilybaeum here on the island of Sicily, which I control. So they've actually attacked me. So, as you can see, I retaliated. I came back down, I held Thapsus briefly, but then they took it back, and then Carthage took Thapsus back, and I was like, well, okay, whatever, you can have it. But Lepsus and Macomedes, as you can see, this is a province here. This is the province of Africa, literally called Africa. Carthage is the capital, and Thapsus is the other city in it. So I control half of this province. And then I have this city over here. It's a large city called Cyrene. And there are just several Middle Eastern nations. We've got the Persians here in Sidamus, however you pronounce that. And then we have, who else do we have? The Drangiana, who are over here. All of them do not get along with me. I'll show you the diplomatic map. All of these, everything that's white is our territory in this map. Everything that's green are people that really like us and get along with us. And then you have red. So that's what's going on down there. Now, to the north of us, the Suebians, who remained in that area for a long time. One of the things that's interesting about the way this is played out is this is actually a fairly realistic Western Roman Empire border. It's a little further east than they went. Really, the border kind of ended here at that river, and this was barbarian territory. Right here, Magna Germania, this province, belonged to the barbarians for a long time. But the Suebi, as you can see, one nation controls all this ground along my easternmost borders here, aside from Greece. So they have a decent relationship with me, but it's starting to deteriorate because they have asked me several times to help them with wars on their other frontiers, and I've said, no, I don't care. You're a large nation. You can take care of yourself. Do your thing. I mean, they're the largest barbarian nation. It will actually be something of a chore to take them down when I do that. And I will take them down because my goal is to control all of this. Yes, it's going to happen. And this is part of the reason that I decided to do a bit of a recap video with this episode. Because, yes, I have had to change strategies a little bit. I'm not expanding quite as rapidly. But at the same time, when I make my next move, I will be in a position to very quickly deal a lot of pain to the people I'm currently fighting. So let me show you what I mean by that. The only Greek nation that still stands is Sparta. And that's because when I blitzkrieg, there goes that skipping again. What is causing that? Sorry, that's so unusual. That shouldn't happen when I scroll around the map, but it's happening anyway. Weirdness. I don't like that at all. When I blitzkrieged in, and that is so distracting. Goodness. I wish I knew what was causing that. One moment. See if I can lower this again and get it to change. That's a little better. Okay. When I charged in, I blitzkrieged Greece and took control of it fairly quickly. Macedon did give me some trouble. I mentioned having some frustration. They came in and they briefly took control of Sicily and even Cosentia here. They were close to Rome, but I came down with some armies and managed to kick their butts. Sparta was the only one that kind of had really strong armies in the area of Sparta, and I didn't have armies that were really in position that were equipped to fight the Spartans. So as you can see now, I have 3 armies in the area. We are at war with them again. We're at peace with them briefly. They made peace with us, but I did declare war on them. Accidentally attacked them. That's a fun one, a couple episodes back. But here's what's going to happen. In the next recording or two, I am going to attack Sparta. I will take Sparta. And once Sparta is gone, I will be able to move all my armies really here and cross over this little channel into what is today the Turkish peninsula. Just to give you an idea of that again, that's here. So this territory, this is all owned by the Seleucids. Again, I'm trying to push back against the Seleucid Empire because they're expanding rapidly. The Seleucids' heartland is here in Syria. Trying to push back against them. So what I'm going to do, very soon after I defeat Sparta, is push hard into this area and at the same time push hard down from these areas. Because, as you can see here, let me show you something about our deployment in Northern Africa. I have a navy here and an army that will be on its way momentarily to that city. I have a navy here and an army here. I have a navy here and an army here. So all the cities are fortified with at least a navy. Now a navy is not really enough to defend a city if a large army attacks it. You can get the men off the boats and fight, but it's good enough. It's better than just a basic garrison. But I can bring these armies down and attack Augila, attack Garama, and attack Cidamus. Cidamus and Garama are part of one province, Phazania, and then Augila is part of the Libya province, which I control the capital of Libya. It's Cyrene. And then Paritonian is over here, and Ammonium is down here. So these 4 cities right here are province, and I can take control of them. And then I'll be knocking on the door of a very important city, which is right here. And I'm not actually going to point to it. If you saw me point to it just now, you can rewind and try and narrow it down. But if you know your geography, you know what city I'll be going for then. But it'll be cool. I'm looking forward to it because there will be a very nice landmark in the background when we take that area. I'm just looking forward to those battles because the scenery will be great. Speaking of good scenery, watch a few episodes back for the conquest of Athens too. That was pretty cool. Athens, I don't think was fully developed. Maybe it was when I attacked it. It was certainly a very large city, one of the largest cities I've marched into. I took it fairly easily. I had a very advanced Roman army take it. This army, this is Legio 7 Illyrica. They have had a history in this campaign, a very proud history. But this is the only Roman the only Roman army ever to be defeated in battle in this version of history. I've had very few defeats in this campaign. I've been methodical. I've been careful. But what happened was when I was taking Britain, up here, Eboracon, York, I took it, and then some other people came in and tried to take it back from me. There it is, skipping again. It's so weird. Some other people came in and they tried to take it back. And I thought I was going to lose. But I put all my men up on the hill, up here. I'm assuming this is where the battle happened. It was just an epic battle. And they lined up and hunkered down and took the top of the hill and just fought off a huge army because they were advanced Roman units. But then another army came in right after that before I could even kind of move them and get them to safety. And I didn't even fight the battle because I knew they would lose. So the game gives you the option to auto-resolve. That's what I did. And they were defeated. So I resurrected them as the most advanced army that I have. And now, actually, I'm seeing I have to do some upgrades, as a matter of fact, to keep them the most advanced. But I will get to that shortly. All right, so that's my recap. I actually think I mentioned earlier that I might do some stuff in this video, but that was a long enough recap. I've discussed what I want to do. I've discussed who the powers on my borders are, and how I got to where I am. And I think I'm happy with that. If you have any questions, leave a comment. So hopefully this has been a good jumping in point for what's going on with the series. I'll cut this episode here and then jump right back in with finishing up this turn in the next episode. And you get to see the Colosseum built and then maybe an attack on Sparta. Maybe, if I feel like it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.